Scizone tonight. Thank you for joining me. Tonight, first of all, I want to pay my condolence and respect to Aaron Russo, who passed away yesterday, I believe, who was a movie maker. He made movies such as The Rose, and the most recent one was Freedom to Fascism. And it's something you can get on Google. Go take a look at it. It's really worth taking the time to look at it. Freedom to Fascism. Go get it and look at it. Aaron Russo passed away. Glad he's with his maker. This week, August 30th, those of you who had a chance, we got to meet you last week over at the AMC Newport on the Levee. Another movie will be there this Thursday night. Death Sentence with Kevin Bacon. It's an exciting, fast action kind of thing. If you go register on WBQC, we'll get the tickets to you at the door or at the gate. They'll make arrangements with you. Just go to WBQC.com and register. It's all you got to do. You're welcome to be there. I'm going to be there, and Elliot and probably Art and some of the crew will be there. Tonight, I want to get to some things that have been given to me, and cover some things with 9/11, some of the interesting, you've never seen them before. You may have been on the internet, but the first time they've ever been on TV. And we're going to take your calls tonight, and we've got a lot of email from people who are interested in psychic phenomena. We're going to talk a little bit about that in the last half. We'll take your phone calls and answer your questions. Then, not now. Don't start now. Don't jump in there and go, I'll get in first. No, that won't work. First off, there is something, his name is, the first guy I gave you in there, who is Al Iwi, or he was the former minister of Iraq, and he got booted out. There he is, nice smiling guy doing a news conference. This guy lost, now you ready for this? He lost $1 billion under his watch. It's gone. We don't know where it went. We don't know how it got out of Dodge. We do know that there was last seen leaving Dodge in a truck. That's the truth. Now, he comes to New York or Washington and hires a firm by the name of Barber, Griffin, and Rogers, and they've been blasting emails all over town criticizing Al Maliki, who is, and promoting his client's former interim self as his replacement. Now, the only thing about that is that Maliki was elected by the people. And I hate to bring this up, but why would you come here and put up this sham of emails, everybody, trying to discredit him when you need to answer some questions yourself, my friend? Now, whether or not the government will find you responsive and put you back in as their puppet, they'll probably try, but I would strongly urge those of you who know about this, that would not be one of the things I'd want to do. You see, the people of Iraq have spoken in an election, and the only reason I'm taking time to do this is because I saw this moron who's spending $300,000 just to get some emails put out about what a nice guy he is. And I got to thinking, why would you do that? Why would you need to do that? Well, I want to tell people why he's such a bad guy. Why? Could it be you want to prolong and make it unstable? The sooner we get our troops out, the more stable it becomes, the less likely you are to get it. Let me tell you how stable it is. Maliki and the Taliban went out and were talking to people on the streets in other cities, campaigning and telling them what they were going to do in this administration. The housing, the way it was going to be built, and he was put in touch with them. Never took a shot. Never a moment's problem anywhere. But see, you didn't see that in the newsprint in this country. You get this moron, I just showed you his picture, and he's trying to do some dirt. Isn't it funny that we don't hear good news from Iraq? Like how much the buildings, the schools, the food, the people, and there are places in Iraq where people are sitting on the street in complete safety, eating ice cream or going about their daily business with no problems at all. The only problem in Iraq is in the green zone. I don't know. I must be missing something here. It's just going over my head, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, we've got things bumping in the night and things going awry, and we're going to get to those and your questions and your answers. I want to go to some of the things that I wanted to share with you because they've never been put on film. We've got clips, or not clips, we've got pictures of them. Remember I told you about something that I saw, and this goes to Area 51, Star Wars weaponry, okay? And I know this sounds really strange, but in the film clips that was shot by the nation, one of the networks, building, I forget which building it was, but there is a girder. After the thing fell, there's a girder standing up like this by itself, just standing straight up. And a dust cloud rolls away from it, and you see it. And all of a sudden, it disappears. It vaporizes right in front of your eyes. And when I saw that, I looked at it 3 or 4 times, and I mentioned it to Jim Fitzer, who was here. And I said, Jim, what about this? He said, Bill, you know, there's a lot of strange things happening there. He said, I saw that, and a lot of other people too. And quite candidly, he said, you know, Bill, there is some suspicion and some talk about Star Wars weaponry being used. And I thought, wait a minute, boy, this is really reaching. This is some kind of conspiracy. But when I went back to the film and the clip and I saw it, I thought, wait a minute, maybe there is something to this. So I asked him, I said, is there any other evidence that this is a strange thing? He said, did you see the cars, Bill? On, I think it's Franklin Delano Roosevelt Parkway or Franklin Delano Roosevelt Expressway. I said, no, I didn't see it. He said, are you aware of, you didn't see any of that? I said, no. He showed them to me, and I've got them tonight for you. Now, I know we've got to take a pause in the action here, and when we come back, I'd like to get to those pictures. Can we do that, guys? We got about 5 seconds left to tell you, don't go away. We're going to break. When we come back, we'll have some of those, have a map up for you and some of the pictures. Hey, I'm back. The Scizone Bill Boshears tonight till 1 o'clock. Don't take your seatbelts off. It's going to get good here in a second. First off, I want to show you a map, and I'll describe it. When you guys throw that up on the screen there, put the map up, and I'll try to walk you through where in relationship. If you'll notice along the lower right hand, you'll see the red marking along the freeway. And across, about a mile away, you see the 3 buildings that are marked by squares. Now, the cars that you are going to see in this next thing, and you'll see some fire trucks that have been damaged, and their damage happened not at that scene. I mean, they were over on the freeway, parked, and you will see them. Now, this is downtown. Notice the burn pattern. Everything inside of it's gone. My mic's dying here, so I'll try to get to you. How's that? Is that any better? Anyway, you can see some of the stuff that's gone, the burn pattern on the truck itself. And the windows are gone. The door handles are gone. The mirrors are gone. The glass is blown out. In this one, it's just burned and began to rust immediately. Anything steel just rusted right away. Now, it burned off. Let's see the next one. Do the next one for me. Now, here is one completely gutted on the inside. Completely gone. The motor on this one is gone. The other side of it, we don't have it here, but the other side is completely gone. Next one. Now, here's one of the strangest burn patterns of all. The car is completely burned. Everything is gone. It's rusted. And the interior of it, the seats are still intact. It burned it up, but it did not burn the seats. A little strange, huh? It looks like it's fried eggs on the outside of it, and it's rusted on top, and there's a picture later on that shows it in the parking lot. Next picture. There's a police cruiser. Notice that the front is burned completely up. The door handles are gone. And the tire on the front, but nothing is burned in the back. Now, this is another one, another police car. Notice the front door handle is gone. The mirrors are gone. The windows are blown out. And the whole thing inside is gutted. And the headlights, bumper, and everything else is gone in it, but the hood is still there. Next one, do the next one. Now here's a parking lot. Now notice the cars that are close to the bottom of the screen. They've got the windows blown out, and there's a convertible sitting there, an Audi. It's blown out, and the cars across the fence there, at the same time they burned up. They were burned, and they're rusting. My question was, if all of this stuff is burned up, why is the paper not burned? There's paper all over the ground. Here and in the foreground of all the pictures that I saw at Ground Zero, the papers didn't burn, but the cars rusted like that day. The paint's gone. I rest my case. Now you can go look at these on tripod. You can go to 911scholars.org. You can go look at that. All of these things are up there and a whole lot more. I'm just telling you that and you say, Bill, why are you bringing this up? One of Art said to me, well, this is old stuff. Have you seen it? Wait till you see the tower and it disappears. Wait till you see that. Right in front of your eyes, it just vaporizes, which leads me to believe maybe there was some kind of star weaponry from Area 51, developmental stuff. Strange? You bet. Now, all of this says one particular thing. There's a lot we don't know about. I'm not suggesting that you need to believe any of this. You need to do your own investigation and take a look at it. Make up your own mind. I'm just trying to give you a place to go to get information. That's all there is to it. Now, I want to get to the email. I want to get to your email, and we'll get to your phone calls. The other evening, when we were over at the AMC Newport Theater, a lady came up to me and she said, I'm so glad you're back on the air. She said, I really liked it when you talked about psychic phenomena, and you were able to enlighten me a great deal about it. She said, would you please do that again? So tonight, in honor of her and you, and a lot of your email that I got, everybody wanted to know, and they've got their own question particularly. If you, and I pointed out to the audience the other night, have you ever been sitting or standing somewhere and you felt somebody looking at the back of your neck or somebody staring at you? Did you ever feel that? That's one of the first indications that you're sensitive. Now, I didn't say psychic, I said sensitive. But better yet, have you ever walked into a place that you knew something was wrong? Or maybe you had a feeling that it was evil, or that it was cold, or that there was something eerie about where you were. Now, I'm not talking about going out to a graveyard. I'm talking about the last report, and our files are full of this. Some of the guys in Vietnam reported back to me. I asked that question one time at a VFW, and 4 or 5 guys come to me and said, "You know, Bill, I walked, and we were in infantry, and we would walk past these villages, or we'd be here or there, and somebody would ask, or somebody would say, 'God, do you feel that?' Are they entities?" was the question. Are these entities trying to tell us something? Are they ghosts? Perhaps. But one of the things that's happened is that with the advent of Polaroid cameras and high-speed film and so on and so forth, people are taking pictures now all over the world of strange-looking objects in pictures. Maybe there'll be an orb, or maybe it'll be a blur that moves in. I was in Guatemala at a convent that was, of course, closed and abandoned. But in the room where everybody made their penance, I went in and I could feel something very cold. And I looked out of the open door into the courtyard. And I took my camera and I photographed a fountain. And when I got back and I had all of them opened, I looked for that film, and I had tossed it out because I thought it was a blemish. And when I got it back and held it up to the light, I later on checked to find out, here was a nun looking in the camera like this, right in the barrel of the camera. And she had depth to her, because you could take the film, the slide, out of focus and see her looking right in the barrel of the camera. And when that happened, I remembered feeling it. Now, if you've had one of those experiences where you're someplace, maybe it's at a neighbor's house, or maybe it's at school, or at a hospital, have you ever felt it at a hospital? Let me know if you have. We're going to take a pause in the action, come right back with your phone calls right here in the Scizone. I'm Bill Bochier. Stick around. Hi there, I'm back. Bill Bochier. Didn't mean to be off in another world. I was trying to get a hold of Don. Don, are you there, sir? Wait a minute. Don, are you there, sir?
Yes, sir, Bill. How are you doing this evening?
Doing fantastic. How you doing?
Good, great. He was talking about, all the junk in the air today. About having weird experiences when you feel like somebody's watching you.
Yeah.
It's been about 12, 14 years ago. My wife and I would like to take rides on Saturday and, go to various places, parks, so forth.
Sure.
We were upper part of Butler County. I won't mention the name of the park. But we went down it because it just looked beautiful, one of them times. We get down there, and I swear, Bill, she even felt it herself. It was like, don't be here feeling. It's like creepiness come over you. You felt the air was like heavy. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
And we drove down this part, and there was a big circle, drove around, and here's these 4 guys, 3 cars, just standing there doing nothing. They look kind of professional-like, you know what I'm saying? Then I get to work after that Sunday and start talking to the guys a couple days later, and they said there was one heck of a major drug bust the same day we was up there. Tell me. See my point?
Absolutely.
And it was just like somebody or something was telling you, hey, get out of Dodge, get out of here now.
I can relate to that, and I can't tell you how many police officers I've talked to who said they had that feeling. I was talking with one friend of mine, dear friend of mine, who he and his wife started into a restaurant, and it's near a motel, and he told his wife, he said, go on in go on in the restaurant. He said, I'm going over here, and major altercation took place, and people who are not trained to be sensitive, I think, naturally have an urge, or they sense. And you're obviously very sensitive, but a lot of trained police officers are very sensitive to this.
I believe that because me and my wife, we're all talking. It's almost like I can tell when she's sick and not even be around,
Sure.
Something's
Absolutely.
wrong. I don't know how to explain it, but,
I can't tell you how many records and files that we've had of siblings who say that about their brothers, sisters being at a distance, particularly with twins.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even some of the strange stuff, twins being separated at birth, yet they find themselves meeting each other later on in life, and they have, if you will, they've married women who were the same name, were the same age, or the same coloring and hair alike, and it's really strange.
Well, we have two young men like that at work. They're both, married. They're all the time together. It's like they know what each other's going to say when each other person's going to do this.
Wow.
It's kind of creepy.
Well, it is, but think about it. If you have someone that you're that close to, where did you get that closeness? Now, these guys,
Exactly.
Was it from a past life?
I don't know.
Something to think about. In past life regression, we ran into that. In a room full of people doing past life regressions, looking at a particular place and time, there was about a half a dozen people in that room who saw exactly the same thing and described it to a T.
Huh.
And I thought they were putting my leg on, because we had a questionnaire that they filled out, and they all put the same thing on it. And over a week's time, I noticed that these people gravitated together, and they became their own cloister in the class, and they really were close. And when we began to put things together, I called them aside and I said, well, you guys are pulling my leg, right? And they said, no, what do you mean? They didn't know each other had written this down. It was time, place, color, city, monastery, and by the way, the monastery exists. And none of these people are Catholic today. None of them.
Well, it's like every time we go down to Smokies, I can tell people, I never was from down there. Only been down there 2 times in my life.
Right.
And I always tell them, what's up the end of that valley up there? What's up there? I'm telling you, it's like I've been here before.
I'll tell you, that is some strange stuff. I was in England, for the first time I was in England.
Yeah.
I knew the town as well as I know the palm of my hand.
Yeah, it just comes to you.
It does. It's like I knew where all the, my friends that went with me, I knew where they were staying downtown. I was staying out of town, but we went downtown, and there they were. We found them.
Well, thank you, Bill. You're a scholar and a gentleman.
Hey, I appreciate it. Glad you could be here tonight. Thank you for joining me.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. If you've had one of those incidents or one of those strange conditions happen, like Don did, give me a call right here. They'll put the number up for you. We'd love to talk to you tonight about it, because it's there. Who have I got on line 3? Who is it? Eric. Eric, are you there, sir?
Yes, I am.
Go right ahead, sir.
Okay, yes, sir. I had an experience when I was probably about 8 years old. And what happened was my room was actually, the attic was right within the room that I slept in as a child.
I see.
And we had a small door with a slide bolt lock on it. Now, for some reason, I had always in my mind that strange things were going on inside that attic area. I was told that it was just the birds and squirrels that had got caught up in there and everything, but my thought was that since my uncle had come home from Vietnam, that he had somebody up in there or something. Like
Oh, I see.
Okay, but what happened was I would always check that slide bolt lock at night before I went to bed, and I would always check it in the morning. So maybe about the second year that I was doing that, the slide bolt lock, I would check it at night and then wake up in the morning, and the slide bolt lock would be back and the door would be open about 1/4 of an inch. So I would close it I was scared.
Wow.
I was lock it back up. This went on for about a week until one day when I woke up, the slab lock was back and the door was open, probably enough to get my hand through. So I closed my eyes and I stuck my hand in to see what was in there, and I latched down on something that felt like it was fleshy. I was so scared when I pulled it out, it was a bunch of doll babies, the old doll babies with the rubber skin.
Oh, yeah.
And the eyes that rolled back. Come to find out, I lost my fear of it then. I opened the door up, and the whole attic was filled with old toys.
Wow. Toys in the attic.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I appreciate it. Good story. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Wow. Toys in the attic. I'm Bill Boshears. We'll take a pause, Jackson. Come right back with your phone calls. Don't go away. You know what the number is. What are you waiting for? Get on the phone. Give them that number. We'll do it again.
What are you supposed to do when you see the flash?
Hey, back in the Scizone, Bill Boshears, Channel 38. Listen, don't forget to jump on a computer or have somebody do it for you. Go to www.wbqc.com and register for your tickets for this Thursday night cinema. We've got plenty. I've got plenty of tickets, and we've got plenty of them to give away. They're free. They don't cost you a thing, and we'll see that you get them, or you can meet us there, and we'll give them to you. Anyway, the movie is Death Sentence with Kevin Bacon. Join me. We'll be there and have some fun. Let's go back to the phones. The telephone number, you get that from a guy. It'll be on the screen there. Let's go to Mary. Mary, are you there, dear?
Hi, Bill.
Hi, how are you tonight?
I'm fine, thanks.
Glad to have you aboard.
Last week, as a matter of fact, when I was watching your show, my mother passed away about 9 years ago.
I'm sorry.
All of a sudden, the entire room filled with the fragrance of her perfume. And it was very definitely the perfume that she used to wear. And I felt her presence, but I had a feeling she was trying to tell me something, and I didn't think it was bad. It was so real. And I it was late. I couldn't call anybody to tell them, But has that ever happened to you where you pick up a fragrance?
Absolutely. My mother, when she passed over, till this day, when she wants my attention, I can smell her cigarettes.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. She was 86, 87, and she smoked for about most of her adult life. And I used to say, Mother, why don't you quit that? It stinks. Anyway, I'll be in the car driving up someplace, and I'll smell her, smell those cigarettes.
I didn't have a feeling that it was anything negative, but it was just comforting.
When you do that, the next time it happens, just say to them, are you trying to contact me? And just relax and let it play that way.
Okay.
You may think or imagine that you are hearing their voices, but what they will do, they're not there to give you prognostications or anything about that. They're merely trying to contact you. And what we've been able to do over the years is guide people who have had those experiences and have them quite common. Their loved ones contact them, particularly if there's been some grief or something. There's usually a lax period after they pass over, but then they come back. And I could sit here all night and recount case after case after case after case of people that have talked to them.
Well, it was very comforting. I didn't have any feeling that this was something bad.
Mary, do something with me, will you?
Yes.
I'm going to ask you a question only because I sensed it. Mary, did you eat Italian tonight?
No.
Where is the Italian food?
Where is the Italian? I'm Italian.
I just suddenly got the urge for Italian food, like it was coming or like I had to, and I'm being you for a moment, and just sensing that that I'm going to you're either going to be cooking it or being involved in it somehow.
Oh, I may cook it this week. I don't know.
Well, good. Save me some. Anyway, I appreciate the call. Thank you, dear.
Thank you.
Have a good one. Who have I got on line 3? Hey, let's go to Ron. You there? Hey, Ron.
Yes, I'm here.
You go right ahead, sir. You're on the air.
Okay. This actually question, first of all, I want to say your show is awesome.
Well, thank you. We appreciate
I
it.
think it's awesome that you have this information. There's a lot of suppressed information that we need to know about.
I think so.
But I would love to see maybe later on in later episodes of your show to do about remote viewing, about the government's involvement in using the tax dollars for psychic research. But, a lot of people don't realize they did it from like 77 to 95, and people don't think about why would the government spend your tax dollars for psychic research if there wasn't something there.
Wasn't something to it. And the first thing they'll tell you is, oh, we didn't, but the name of the program was Stargate.
Well, it had many different names. Stargate was the last name that it ended with, but I forgot the beginning name. But I know the Indigo Swan, who was a natural psychic painter and author, did some research, scientific psychic research that got in the hands of somebody else on the other side of the coast, and they kind of met together, and then the Army got involved, and it went on from there. But it had various different names. But Stargate actually was the last name
it
had before it was classified in 95.
Okay. There was Puthoff and Targ. They were at SRI, and what happened, I had Targ on the show with me on WLW one night, and we did some remote viewing, and I was watching him, and I described to him at great length what he had just picked up when he was sitting in his office at his desk, what he picked up in his hand, and he lost it. Yeah, I mean, he went beside himself. He was not ready for that. And yes, it is possible. And yes, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll put together some exercises for you folks at home to try, and we'll do it with you. How's that?
That would be great. That would be so great, because I think this information is so important.
Well, think about it. If people would develop that ability to be at home or be out and check on the family, go back and check maybe the babysitter, look how valuable it would be.
Yes.
To instantly go check on somebody, a loved one or whatever, and know exactly what they're doing.
Yes. You know what is so wild? Also, in the process, all it is this there's external technology and there's internal technology.
Okay.
And the great ancients and the different masters, various knew about these inner technology. It's like a telephone is used for me and you to speak, and you can be anywhere. And that's external. We build it outside of ourselves.
Right.
The internal technology is when we let down the phone and we use telepathy.
Well, the key to that is in a book. If you want to get the book, it's an old one called Psychic Discoveries Behind the Iron Curtain. And one of the things they did was prove that with animals, and then proved it with human beings, being able to sense danger at a distance. Even with there's another one called The Secret Life of Plants.
I've heard of that.
It's a phenomenal book. We'll get to a lot of that information as the weeks go on. Stick around, stay tuned, but I'm glad you called tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You got it, my friend.
Have a good night.
Good night. We'll take a pause in the action right now, but we'll be right back. Hi, this is Bilbo Shears, Channel 38. We're here every Saturday night from about 12 o'clock. Tell your friends about us, and for those of you who can't get it, you can go online at www.wbqc.com, and over on the right-hand side, it says Scizone. Click on it, and you can see the archives that they're up on Google. And you can go to Google and look at them too. Anyway, let's go back to the phone. Let's go to John. John, are you there, sir?
Yeah.
Go right ahead.
Don't you think it's weird that basically our economy is supporting the rest of the world? I mean, all of our toys we buy are from China. The Japanese cars are putting the American companies out of business, and they're not really better. They're more expensive. You know, and I had something else I was going to say, but I forgot.
Well, that's all right, but you've covered a good one. I have to tell you.
And we're selling our ports to the Arabs.
Well, they wanted to do that, and we kind of put a kibosh on that, but somebody else bought them anyway, or they're paying for the operation of it. We've got a major problem in this country, and it's twofold. We've got to find and get rid of the administration and get rid of NAFTA and GATT, or begin putting tariffs on these products, this junk. See, people notoriously buy junk. Walmart is full of junk from China. They haven't a damn thing in there that I need and I can't live without. And you probably the same way. If it's made in China, they're even now importing tilapia fish, which is a grubbing fish. Tilapia, I think, is something off a bottom feeder. And the food, tires, what else? Toys.
Plane just blew up.
A plane blew? I didn't hear that one.
Yeah, that was a Chinese Airways plane. I don't know if it was made in China.
Well, probably was anyway. The point being that we have a lot of junk in this country we don't need, and people keep buying it because we want the cheapest. And that's the way they're going to get the new world. That's the way you're going to get a one world order, buddy.
Is it worth saving that 50 cents to put Americans out of work, though?
Not to me, it's not. But when you buy those toys for those kids, what you got to remember is that in China, they got those 8, 9-year-old kids working in those factories to paint all those toys.
I heard something on a show once. I don't know if it's true, but they say that the Chinese work for like $100 a year, and if they get fired within that year, they don't get the money.
I couldn't comment on it. I don't know, but it doesn't sound unlikely. I mean, that's some severity. If it is, it's very severe. But hell, they don't pay them anything anyway.
That's crazy.
No, it's the way they do business, and that's okay. I just don't support it. I vote on that with my dollars. That's the only thing I've got to vote with, and I don't buy it. But I appreciate the call, brother. Thank you.
All right, bye.
Got you. Let's go to Robin. You're there. Robin?
Yes, hello, Bill.
You're on the air. Go ahead, dear.
Yes, well, I want to say, first of all, that I know that there have been several times where I felt the evil was very palpable.
Uh-huh.
You touch it, you know.
Yeah.
Secondly, want to know what your theory is about, or what your opinion is about a theory of history coming down through the genes. In other words,
absolutely.
I've been somewhere.
Absolutely.
And maybe an ancestor was.
Cellular memory, it's called. And I could tell you story after story of people that cellular memory happens, one of which, a young girl, give you the story. Young girl, she's a ballerina. She, very slender, very conscious of her diet, beautiful girl. Suddenly just comes up with a heart problem. And she is a candidate for a heart transplant. She gets the transplant. She's in the hospital for the proper number of days. She gets up out of the hospital, goes to a McDonald's, and starts eating chicken McNuggets, something she has never done in her life.
Okay.
The individual that died and gave her his heart was crossing the street eating chicken McNuggets and had them in his pocket.
Wow.
Now, another, and this goes on and on and on. This kind of cellular memory, I'm kind of interested, people who have had blood transfusions from other people. Do we get it there? Some people say we do.
Right.
Can we remember our past lives? You bet we can. I used to think that it was a joke until I did it. And the minute that I saw my other lives and began to understand them, let me say this. I'm not trying to get anybody to believe in it. All I'm saying is this. It answers questions.
Well, it makes you wonder if you should really donate organs and that.
Well, that's another thing you have to think about. But the conscious goes with those organs. You got to remember that.
Right.
Now, how sophisticated? I can tell you another heart story. Excuse me. Guy's a dock worker. Beer drinking, baseball going guy, works on the docks, has a heart replacement. All of a sudden, he begins to listen to classical music and picks up the violin. And that's what the individual was doing when they died.
Right.
They were a classical violinist, and that's his heart. It rubbed off? You bet it did. Anyway, I appreciate the call. Thank you for being there.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
We'll take a pause in the action and come right back with more right here. Hey, we're back in the Scizone. Bill Bosch here tonight. Join me this next week, if you will. Just register at WBQC.com and get your free tickets to The Death Sentence with Kevin Bacon. Love to see you. And by the way, if you watch the show and you show up over there, say hello, would you? We'd love to meet you. And let's go to, I believe it's Magic. Are you there, sir?
I'm talking about tomorrow, the next day. It's in Atlanta.
I'm sorry, what? Hello?
Yeah, here I am.
Go right ahead.
Is this Bill?
Yeah.
Let me turn my TV down, Bill. Okay.
Okay.
It happened about 15 years ago. Okay, he's on a delay. We got the TV on, I'm sorry. Anyway, we was in the house, and the electric went out, and then the electric went on, and the wind started blowing, and then the wind stopped.
Yeah.
The electric went on.
Yeah.
The electric went off.
Yeah.
The wind started blowing, the wind stopped, and it started raining profusely, and then it stopped. The electric went on. The wind stopped, the electric went off, and back and forth.
Sounds to me like you got a short somewhere, buddy.
I didn't hear you.
It sounds to me like you had a short, but go ahead.
Yeah, which is, I'm an electrician. But anyway, I knew as a fact that someone had crashed during this storm and hit a telephone pole, and a transformer was swinging back and forth. This is what I thought. That would explain the electric on and the electric off.
Okay, okay.
And so I went outside, and I looked right across the street, no more than 100 feet from me, and I saw this cigar-shaped object, the typical saucer-shaped UFO-type object.
Okay.
I thought, well, that explains everything. It must be using energy from recharging or something like that. I mean, this thing had pastel-colored, not windows, although they appeared to be windows, but they were pastel prism-type energy that looked like windows. They weren't spinning around circles or anything like that. But you could see some kind of pastel energy. Anyway, and this thing was kind of wobbling.
Yeah.
Now, mine, I could hit this with a baseball. It wasn't far from me at all. I could hit it with a baseball.
But you didn't?
No. Okay. No, I went back into the house, and I told a buddy of mine there's a spaceship in the front yard. You got to see this. And I was being really cool and casual. And then I told the wife, I said, honey, there's a spaceship in the front yard. I need the phone. I need to call up the cops or something. And anyway, I got a hold of the cops, and they said that there was an object spotted in your area. We're looking into it now.
Where were you living at this time, sir?
This is in northern Kentucky, in the Fort Mitchell area, about 1986.
Okay.
But anyway, so my friend went outside to see what was going on. And I'd already explained that someone hit a pole, a transformer was swinging, making a connection, disconnecting. But the wind started, the wind stopped. The rain started, the rain stopped. Lights went on, lights went off. You know, I knew it was a transformer swinging, a car had wrecked. I didn't hear no noise. Anyway, I went out and I told you about what I saw. I went back in. I said, "You guys got to see this." And we walked outside. And the wife immediately ran back into the house and said, "We're all going to die. We're all going to die. You guys get in here." That's you know, does it. But I was enchanted. And my friend took a look at this object. And it was kind of wobbling like
okay, I'm running out of time here.
But anyway,
What's the point of this?
Right. But right.
Right, the point. Yeah, the point.
This thing eventually leveled off and became parallel to the Earth, and then.
Well, I was worried.
Gone.
I thought the sucker was going to stop. I mean, you tell a great story.
It was hovering and wobbling right across the street from me.
Wobbling, yeah.
Okay, I saw this thing.
Yeah.
The airport acknowledged that this thing was located and then fell off of the identification system. They went out of the site.
Hey, I hate to interrupt you because I know this could go on all night. I've got about a minute to go and I've got to get out of here, but I appreciate the call. Thank you. I think. Anyway, you know, people have strange things happen, wobbling. Yeah, listen, every week there will be calls from people who have had or are having phenomena happen. Join me each week. We're going to make a collection of these, and we're going to publish them in something, I think, and you can be a part of it. Anyway, this is the Scizone, where things get discussed that normally don't get discussed in the rest of the world. Every week, we'll try to look at something a little bit different. You're invited this week, Thursday. Join me at the Newport on the Levee, the AMCU Theater. Kevin Bacon's going to be there and do his death sentence or something. Be a part of it. Take care. Stay safe. Good night.